skip it. See it or skip it. See it or skip it.
Welcome to a new See It or Skip It, where we're going to be talking about Black Phone 2 with Ethan Hawke. Plus, we've got a couple of really interesting, very different documentaries, and we have After the Hunt. We've got Andrew Garfield, Iowa Debris is in there, plus so much more. And I am joined by Kent and Rebecca.
Hey.
Hey.
How's it going?
It's going well. We were talking a little bit before the show, and I could already see where our minds are heading towards certain things. But before, let's do a little bit of catch up of last week and currently this week, because unfortunately, in the industry, we had two giants pass away. Mm-hmm. First, Diane Keaton, who has been in The Godfather, Godfather Part 2, Father of the Bride.
First Wives Club.
First Wives Club.
I love it so much.
Something's got to give.
Yeah.
And I really am sad that she's no longer with us to be able to keep delivering these. What were some of your favorite movies?
Oh gosh, I feel good.
No, it's funny. I went back through the time. I'm like, oh, Annie Hall, of course, but but honestly, First Wives Club is probably my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
First Wives Club is one that I know I've seen.
Yeah.
But honestly, just her presence, I really appreciated her presence more than anything. Mm-hmm. I think she's hilarious.
And one of a kind too.
One of a kind, yeah.
Those rose-tinted glasses, like just always going around and being so kind. Like she has the same feeling of you must be so genuine when you meet them in person. Like I don't know what Jamie Lee Curtis would have, or something like that.
Right.
But also a huge giant in our industry, and probably you've seen him in every single poster that you've watched, that you've loved, whether it be The Thing, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, as Drew Struzan has passed away too. This man has made some of the most important blockbuster decisions for you because you're looking at the cover art first for deciding what to do.
One of my favorite artists of all time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, you think about the movie The Thing, the first thing you think about is the poster.
Which almost has nothing to do with the movie, but it's perfect at the same time.
Perfect.
Yeah, Back to the Future. You think about that cover. I mean, everything we've seen, the Star Wars.
New Hope.
Incredible.
Yeah. And we're talking about some greats, right? But he elevated some really garbage movies. Like he made the He-Man poster, and it was incredible. I looked at that poster, I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
The Goonies, everything that we loved from our childhood to the nostalgia, that came from him in that cover art. And George Lucas said himself that he is a master of his craft. And so we have some posters up just showing some of the things that are going on. And rest in peace to both of these icons. Yeah. With that being said, let's talk about the Black Phone 2.
It was just a dream. About a real place. A youth camp. We have to go there.
Hello, Finney. You killed me. It took me a long time. But you, of all people, know that dead is just a word.
This is a direct sequel of the first one. Like, you need to have seen that first movie because we have the same characters, the ones that survived the first one. I don't want to give too much away. Maybe we'll have to talk about some supernatural elements.
I mean, he died in the first movie.
Spoiler alert.
He's in the trailer in the second.
Okay, thank you. I'm like, I don't want to, but let's do it. So that was a standalone movie. It had a beginning and an ending. And now they're like, let's cash in. Let's make a second movie. And so they take the grabber and make him essentially Freddy Krueger. And I think in that way they changed the genre a little bit. And they bring back the main two children, who are now 17 in this movie, and have them face off against this supernatural entity this time around.
Yes, and they're definitely going for a completely different genre. And Blumhouse has been doing this past year. They did it with Megan 2.0, where it stopped being so much of a horror, started being a lot more of an action thriller.
Yeah.
With this, they're taking away the abduction kind of aspect of it and going full Freddy Krueger, full supernatural, and even throwing in a lot of 80s throwbacks to the silly horror that I really enjoyed.
Well, not even like a direct Freddy Krueger 2, because whereas in Freddy Krueger, he's actively killing teens, in Black Phone 2, they're working to solve missing children's cases. So they go to this Christian camp, winter camp, by the way. Insane.
It has to happen for this story. It makes no sense, but it has to happen.
They gotta get him on ice skates. But it's more of solving the mystery of these missing kids, which I kind of liked. I think it's a very interesting premise. There are some things of this movie I actually did really like. The shift from when you can tell they're in a dream, the format shift, where it looks like you're watching a VHS tape. Really clever.
Yes.
I really liked that.
It's directed by Scott Derrickson, who did Sinister,
That's his thing,
Doctor
right?
Strange.
That's the
he
thing.
utilizes that 8mm Super 8 type of film so well in
And this time more than any other movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It is like a plot point. The
yes.
style changes.
Yeah.
And not only that, the main character changes from the first film to this one. Now it's the younger
Yeah, you have
sister.
Gwen,
It's having-
Gwen who has visions in this movie, and kind of like she feels cursed, right? And so this one does rely a lot more on the family element, which for me maybe was the weaker part of the movie because I wanted to see a little bit more carnage. Is that wrong? I did want to
Yeah.
see more of the Freddy Krueger
And
element of the
when
movie.
there was carnage, excellent.
Yeah.
I mean,
Scary.
yucky, gross,
Yucky,
scary.
gross. Yeah, exactly.
But
and
like,
really like in your face with it too, especially when it comes because they're trying to find these missing dead kids that were brutalized by the grabber. They're showing kind of what happened to them while he's like kind of watching the person watching.
Yes.
You know, who grabs the grabber? That's the
Yeah.
that's the question this
Part
movie
three.
is.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I love the way that this has now become a weird mythological character that just appears and can probably only exist in the 90s once they stop having payphones and there's nothing else to
Yeah,
do.
I do love that there has to be a black phone, and the grabber needs to
my
be there.
Nokia starts ringing.
Some horror movies, they choose to not look at logic and to go for style and like big scares, right?
Yeah.
And I think this toes the line to being maybe way too cheesy and over the top to hitting the nail just right. And I think for me, this is one that if you go in the theaters, you're going to have a fun time this month.
Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't like it. I thought this movie was the slowest movie of all time.
Oh, no.
The first half is very slow.
It is so, because it relies a lot on Gwen being asleep, and that she can only do that so many times in the movie.
Right.
And the in between, the daylight hours are they are both so slow and they move so fast because there's one scene where they're like, hey, we're heading to the lake at dawn, and then they spend 5 minutes at the lake and then Gwen's sleeping again, and I'm like, we couldn't have spent more time exploring the day. We couldn't have spent more time between characters communicating what the action. This is one of those movies where if these guys would just talk to each other, I think a lot of stuff would have been taken care of.
Well, who would just talk to each other? There's a guy that's just trying to kill them through a payphone. I mean, there's no talking at that point, right?
Yeah, I think the reason I enjoy this movie so much is because I grew up on Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th sequels. I know how bad horror movies are in that sequel category. And to this felt like in that same genre, in the
Sure.
same vein. And I was like, I'm having so much fun with a movie that takes itself way too seriously. Because this is a
It did
campy
take
movie
its-
on its face. But it's like, nope, we're deadly serious.
It did take itself away too.
Until it isn't, until it really isn't, and you see Ethan Hawke figure skating across the frozen lake and wackiness inside of a payphone where they have a horrifying, twisted version of what Wonder Woman looks like when she does a full spin.
Yeah.
Overall, I understand the reason that this is a skip it for you. For me, it's a see it only because I, for some reason, have a real big limit of like, there's great horror movies and it's dark and I can see the dark and it's lit really well. Like it knocked the points that I wanted. Be Freddy Krueger, have weird things happen in dreams.
I liked it more than the first movie. The first movie I felt like was kind of standard. Like a little bit of supernatural, a little out of realism. This one I'm like, almost full supernatural, and like dive in. Have some fun with it.
Now, do you think they're going to be doing a third?
Absolutely they are.
Ring, ring,
And it's going to
ring.
be even worse. It's like there's going to be diminishing returns, but I'm okay with it.
They barely set up Ethan Hawke's whole like plot arc in this movie.
That's the thing. I don't
It's
think
the
we got a history of the grabber. I think that's what we'll see in another sequel.
Oh, great, a prequel.
Yep.
Awesome.
sorry.
So cool.
The Reacher.
You know what? Honestly,
And then he will grab at the end of the movie.
honestly, another hot take. I don't think I like that Mason kid.
No, Mason.
Interesting.
I don't think I like him.
Wait, even his hiccup?
Oh, well, we're going to be talking more about him next week in Regretting You, because he's in that as well.
Is he?
Yep, he's lead in both. And, you know, he did that role when he was 12 years old.
Yeah.
Like, when he first did it. And he really did show some great acting chops, especially leading it. That was the one thing everyone was talking about. But he might be starting to get a little oversaturated. We'll see what happens this year.
Right.
For both of us, it's a see it. For Rebecca, it's a skip it.
I know I have really high horror movie standards, and so do not take my.
No, it's all good. It's good to have the
listen
balance.
to me. Yeah.
No worries. Well, let's move on to our next movie, which is called Good Fortune.
My name is Gabriel. I'm an angel. I'm here to save you.
What?
I'm an angel. See the wings? I know all about you. I know you lost your job. I know you're living in your car.
I did everything I was supposed to do and nothing's working out.
I'm not really supposed to be doing this. I'm normally only in charge of saving people from texting and driving.
Wait, you're telling me I have a budget guardian angel?
Kinda.
This is starring Keanu Reeves, Aziz Ansari. Keanu is this angel that is a lower level angel. He's not really doing all the big saves, but he's
the
helping.
angel of texting and driving.
Yeah.
He's the traffic person.
He's
when
one to say, hey, look up. You might get in a crash.
Yes, and he really hates that people love being on their phones while driving. But at this point, he comes across Aziz Ansari's character, who is just done with life, and it's something that we all kind of experience right now, where the jobs aren't paying well anymore. Rent is increasing. You're worried about where you're going to stay. They're really showing a lot of that. And so Gabriel, this angel, has an idea. Let's give Aziz Ansari the chance to be rich, to be wealthy, and see how much that helps him. Well, it helps him a lot, and now he doesn't want to go away from doing that. And so this angel is having to figure out, how do I convince this guy to go back to his old crappy life, even though I literally kind of saved him in this way.
Yeah.
Not only does he have to want to switch back, but he has to be psyched about it, which I thought was a really fun
And he
role.
saw his future, and he still has to be okay with his future.
The person he swaps lives with is Jeff. He's played by Seth Rogen. I really thought he worked well in this role. He did well with Aziz. I don't think Aziz on his own really stands as a leading man, particularly in this, because every time he does a very similar thing where something crazy happens and he goes, "What? No."
What? No. Yeah.
And that's his thing. And Seth Rogen, of course, he's got the laugh stuff. But once Keanu gets into this, he is the MVP of the movie, hands down.
Yeah.
I wish we got more of him. I wish we had a more centralized story of him. But what did you think, Ken?
Well, the fish out of water character for Keanu is the best, right? And that's why you see him and you're like, he's not acting well. You're like, but he's not really meant to, right? He's meant to question what humans do and why they do it. And I think that's why he was the best part of this movie, which I felt like was messy overall. I feel like this is a collection of scenes that were meant to be skits and it's just kind of thrown together. And I don't like Aziz Ansari or Seth Rogen all that much. And so to put a movie on their backs and make us care was the wrong move.
Rebecca, what do you think? Keke Palmer's in this. Her and Aziz have a relationship, which is the most unrealistic part of the movie for me.
Sure.
Definitely underutilized Keke Palmer. You have a comedic powerhouse in Keke Palmer, and you don't utilize her.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't really like Aziz Ansari. Like, whatever your opinions are about Aziz Ansari, I do think he's really funny, and I do think he is very talented and smart. I thought he and Seth Rogen worked really well together. I personally really liked what he did with this movie because Aziz wrote and directed it, and he used the opportunity to tell a story about gig culture and like
the Door Dashers world.
A real thing that's actually happening and how it is expensive if you're poor. And I really, I'm sure it's not a thing he has to worry about, but I really appreciate that he made this entire movie focusing on that. And I hope the right lesson gets taken from it. But are the right people going to see it?
Well, we'll see if he's taking the right lessons from it too. And that's about all I'll get into with that. But again, I think the humor in this works. I kind of understand where you're coming from, Kent, because I was telling my wife when we were driving away, this feels like a Sundance movie.
Yes.
In a lot of ways. And it would have crushed at Sundance if this came out this year. I think that's more or less to do with they don't have a lot of budget for like sets and different things. You could tell that the angel stuff, they just couldn't do a lot with it. I wish they'd explored a lot more, especially with Sandra Oh. I want to know this weird hierarchy and business culture when it comes to angels and what roles that they have. But maybe that can be another prequel. They could do that with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, making it feel cheap, though, in that way kind of worked for the movie because it did feel like this lighthearted, breezy indie comedy.
It reminded me a lot of I Love You, Man. Like that era of movies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, is this a see it for all of us?
It's a miss it for me.
Really?
No.
Yeah,
So is it a skip it completely?
Yeah, it's a watch it on streaming.
Defend
I sat
yourself,
there-
sir.
no,
Yeah, defend
right.
yourself.
Smite him.
No, I'll defend my life because that's what this felt like. I just kind of sat there and went, oh, that's kind of funny. That's pretty good, I guess. But there's never like, ha, well, you got me. And
What?
I don't think it's meant to be that kind of movie.
Oh,
Well, if it's not meant to be that kind of movie, then it works.
so what are we doing?
But did you guys laugh a lot?
I did.
did.
Especially
Okay, good.
when it came to Keanu. Anytime Keanu was trying to like prove that he's made a point, and it always just keeps backfiring on him,
Yeah.
and the look on his face every time. Like, this might be one of my favorite roles Keanu has done in a long time. Because he's used to just doing John Wick.
It's sincere. Like, it's very, like I told you guys before we were recording, he's 100% my husband in this movie. Just perfect.
Mine too.
Perfect golden retriever of a guy, just trying his best and
Yeah.
trying to see the good in every experience he has. And I thought, this movie's a see it, Kent.
It's cute.
The messaging could have been a little bit stronger. I'll give you that.
And the way it's edited is not clean. It was a mess.
You didn't like those transitions?
Okay, the future transition's great.
Well,
That's
not even
about it.
that, but like he's got creative with like sliding, like very George Lucas style transitions.
Yeah, those easy Microsoft downloads that you can.
Okay. We're okay.
Stuff that only we care about.
Well, we had a lot to say about this one, but you guys let us know what you think. I think both Black Phone and Good Fortune are perfect to go to the theater this month. You got a little bit of comedy, you got a little bit of fear.
But there's one more movie in the theater, right?
Yes, there is
You're
one.
the lone one that saw this one.
I'm the lone wolf, so
Okay.
this will be a 1-minute review
Okay.
here of After the Hunt. Now, this is, again, Julia Roberts. She plays this professor that is caught in between basically a sexual assault case that gets brought up to her by Io Debris. The potential of the offender is Andrew Garfield's character. And while trying to figure out exactly what happened, some things from her past are coming back to haunt her, and she's going to have to navigate just really what this new world looks like with accusations, with gender roles and power struggles. I don't think this director, which by the way, he's done some incredible work. He did
Luca Guadagnino.
Call Me by Your Name, Bones and All. He did
Recently Challengers, right?
recently
Challengers and Queer last year.
Okay.
Yes, and what I would say is I think sometimes directors can be a little too prolific in what they're doing. 2 movies a year, one of them is going to be a slight misstep versus the other. We're not all Steven Spielberg. We can't put out Schindler's List and Jurassic Park in the same year.
Sure.
And in this case, I do think the messaging got a little bit too pretentious, a little bit more carried away. And though he was trying to be unbiased in the scope, you can kind of feel it in the writing, what he actually feels about stuff. So I think it's an interesting look, but it's not something I would recommend checking out.
Okay.
So, just skip it.
I would say watch stuff from the press tour, because the press tour for this movie has been really fascinating. Really nice to watch the interactions between specifically Andrew Garfield, Julia Roberts, and Io Debris. Like, there's one interviewer who you can tell she sets up the question to like pretty much insult Io Debris, and both Julia Roberts and Andrew Garfield immediately like jump to her defense, and you can tell that these guys get along really well.
Yep.
There was one interview Julia Roberts was talking about. They had to shut down filming for a day, and so she and Io went to an amusement park, and they text Luca, and they're like, "Come join us at the amusement park." And
Okay, that's a cool set.
yeah.
I don't know if I would go to an amusement park with Luca Guadagnino. What ride would he like
He
the
would
most?
film a movie while you were there and release it next year. So
Yeah.
He's like the power struggles in this Pirates of the Caribbean ride with Davey and Jack. Anyway, so that's skip it for me. But you still have 2 really interesting choices for this weekend. But with that being said, it's time for us to talk about the physical releases streaming, and Leo has come back to give us the disc drop.
Hello, Theater Skip It. Welcome to the disc drop. I'm here to tell you guys everything that's new on physical media this week. First up, we have Weapons. This is one of those that I wasn't expecting much, but it completely surprised me and it delivered in every single way. Mission Impossible: The Last Reckoning. It's out on 4K and Blu-ray. It's a good watch. I enjoyed it. The Fantastic Four: First Steps on this beautiful 4K steelbook. If you love steelbooks, this is out now on 4K and Blu-ray. Make sure you get yourself a copy because they're gonna sell out. They're gonna sell out. And this was a great movie. I enjoyed it. One more that I have here for you this week is The Bone Collector from Kino Lorber. This is the first time it comes on 4K. Kino Lorber does amazing titles, older titles that you never expect to get a 4K. And we got The Bone Collector this week. That's all I have for you guys this week. Hopefully this helps bringing you guys one step closer to buying physical media. Thank you, Theater Skipper, for having me again, and I'll see you guys next week on the Disc Drop.
All right, thank you, Leo. Make sure to follow him on all of his socials. He's always putting out stuff. With that being said, let's talk about what's out on streaming. Apple TV Plus did this 5-part series about the GOAT of all superhero conversations, Martin Scorsese.
Oh, yeah. This one is interesting. It's almost autobiographical. From what I've seen, I've only seen the first 2 episodes. But they were talking from his childhood, and then where I'm at, it's up onto Mean Streets and Taxi Driver.
Yep.
And so you're getting his whole career, which is not a surprise. I think the surprise is, can you make it all 5 hours? Because these are hour-long episodes. And you really have to be like, I love this guy more than any other director. But it's from his own words, which is super cool.
How involved is his daughter, Francesca?
Sadly, not yet.
Dang it.
Okay, so I've seen all 5. I'm going to spoil some stuff to you. Sorry,
do.
Ken.
That's fine.
So the first 4 of these are really focusing on his career in the vein of like what he was doing with Robert De Niro, his cocaine challenges, which they don't really talk a lot about. He's like, there was some cocaine. And it's like,
I'm
okay,
sure.
Okay. I'm sure there was a little bit in what was going
his
on.
mentors. And,
Yes, his
growing up
mentors.
around gangsters.
And interviewing some of those gangsters that were based on characters and them like just totally personifying what they were in a scary way. I love that he's in this and he's involved and he's actually talking about what was happening. And this is a director that has been around for so long. He has seen the cultural shifts and the studio shifts and what it takes to make a movie change within his lifetime so many times. And each episode, I feel like, kind of caps it on that. And now I have to make this incredible movie, and it's gonna be a pain. I hope it ends, if they do an extended episode, with Kool-Aid or something like that.
Yeah,
If we can tie in the studio.
Well, isn't he working on like a Jesus movie?
He already did, The Last Testament of Christ.
I think another one as
No,
well.
I thought he was doing.
I thought he was doing a horror movie.
Because I
next.
thought that's why Andrew Garfield dropped out of Frankenstein, was to go work on Martin Scorsese's Jesus
Interesting.
movie.
But there's a lot to talk about with him and his religion too, because that is strewn throughout all of his stuff. And
Absolutely it is.
Last Temptation of Christ was like the next movie he wanted to make after Mean Streets and Taxi Driver. So that's fascinating. I loved hearing about all of the actors talking about working with him, how much he just lights up the room and is the center focus of anything that you're doing. But there was a lot about his family, how there were phases where he was not around his daughters and stuff. And Francesca basically had like the perfect situation with him as a dad. Not all the kids got that, and so that was really interesting. The thing that bothers me is the last episode is only with Leo DiCaprio. Could have actually used a couple more episodes, or maybe split that up more, because I wanted more of that era. There's so much in it. There's The Departed, there's Gangs of New York, there's The Aviator, and it's just one episode? I don't know.
That is, you need like a whole separate series of Leonardo DiCaprio and Scorsese.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe the story's not written completely just yet. I'm very excited for people to check this out if they love Martin Scorsese.
So it is for people that love Scorsese, though, because it is 5 hours.
I mean, it'd be weird to go in not liking him.
Yeah, I like Scorsese. I don't know if I'm willing to dedicate 5 hours of my time.
You probably get like 1 or 2 episodes in, you're like, why am I not just watching a Scorsese movie at this point?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you want to know behind the scenes stories.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
But
Yeah.
Either way, I wish they talked to him more about what do you mean roller coaster rides?
Yeah.
Just for like one quick second and him being like, nah. And then they move away.
I'm a fan, so I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to finish it.
You'll finish it?
Then I'm going to watch some Scorsese movies.
I'll watch
right.
the Leonardo DiCaprio episode.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, that's on Apple TV Plus right now. You can check out all 5 episodes today. But also there's a documentary out on Netflix that I am sure is already running the gamut to be in contention for Best Documentary, though I don't think anyone is going to want to watch it more than once. This is The Perfect Neighbor. You two saw this at Sundance. Tell me what your thoughts were seeing it with an audience.
So I didn't see it with an audience. I watched it at home, which was good because I was able to pause it because The Perfect Neighbor made me feel physically ill. And so I really liked that I was able to pause it, go take a lap around the house, and then come back to it because it is. And I remember this story when it happened so vividly. It happened in 2023, about this neighborhood, and there's this one woman in this neighborhood who is a problem. She's always calling the police on the kids in the neighborhood.
The Karen is what they lovingly refer to.
The Karen of the neighborhood. And then one day it escalates to a point where she ends up shooting one of the parents through her front door.
This was huge news when it came out too. I remember seeing it, and you saw this as well.
Yeah, I'm almost glad I didn't know the story, though when you're watching it, so I saw it with an audience, and everyone, I think some people probably knew what was going to happen. you can kind of try to predict and brace yourself for what is going to happen. Because when it does, breaks your absolute heart.
What's fascinating, though, oh, I'm so sorry, keep going.
No, yeah, you're good.
It's the way they shoot it, right? It's all done through the perspective of body cam footage. So you feel you are the person. Experience it. It's very POV. It's very hard to watch, like you said. But at the end of the day, they do a lot to talk about stand your ground laws. We're a stand your ground state. And the way that people could misinterpret that or misuse that law is very horrifying. And this is the example of what could come from that. I think it was expertly directed. It's tough to show just only body cam footage and like security cameras and not be engaged.
They have so much body cam footage too because the police were called out to that neighborhood so often.
To the point where even though it's a documentary with that perspective, you get to know these kids as characters.
Oh, for real.
Right? And it's interesting because you shouldn't really know that in a documentary, but because you see them so often, you're like, okay, just stay away from that house, please.
And it's a good example of community police knowing the people in their area and actually having a dialogue with them. That's also the kind of was like, oh, surprising a little hope that like it's not always just confrontation and conflict, but like even they understand this lady's crazy and like we want kids to be kids too. We'd rather you have fun than go blow up stuff or do whatever.
Sure.
And so upsetting too because the Karen is so unremorseful.
Yep.
Like I said, this documentary made me feel sick, and but that means it was done really well.
Yeah, like documentary of the year so far.
Yeah.
Even though you probably
in
can't watch it
contention.
again. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's up there, yeah.
So it's a see it from all of us, but with that caveat that you might not really want to, but it's worth it.
If you love to feel bummed out.
Eat your vegetables, people. We all need to eat our cinematic vegetables so that we can feel and learn more. So with that being said, there's one more. The Chair Company had its first episode, and it broke records, actually, on HBO Max. Yes, one of the highest watched first comedy shows on that streaming site. And Tim Robinson is back doing a full-length series about a chair, an incident where he fell off said chair. And it seems like everything's going to explode from that point.
It's a perfect Tim Robinson recipe. He takes this incident that is so mundane. His life itself is pretty mundane, but the show is shot as a thriller, and every choice and action that he takes has severe consequences, and it's shot with like, the intention of making you feel like you're on the edge of your seat, but it's the most mundane storyline.
I'm so new to Tim Robinson, so everything I see, whether it's Friendship or a couple episodes, I think you should leave, I'm like, why do people like this so much? Because I feel
you're Natalie, the same thing. She's like, I laughed at it, but this humor is not for me.
That's the thing. I was watching it and I was like, love this. I personally love this. This is not for everybody.
Yeah, but that said, this is The Office that turns into a thriller, and you're like, this is only his problem, right?
It is.
And then you realize, oh wait, this is bigger, and I need to know what happens now.
Yeah. His humor is like you almost have to step outside the joke and laugh at the attempt at the joke. And that's the joke itself with Tim Robinson, is his attempts to do things and how horribly they go wrong. Even if it feels like it was in the script and he was trying to do it. It gets very cerebral in that way. But I'm having fun with it. I don't know how many episodes there are, but second episode is going to drop on Sunday night. So HBO Max, if you have that, make sure that you check it out. And with that said, that about does it for this week's See It or Skip It. Thank you both for joining.
Of course.
Tell the people where they can find you, Rebecca.
You can find me every week at Geek Show Podcast.
You Gross Rebecca.
And at You Gross Rebecca.
You know,
I wasn't just saying You Gross Rebecca.
Yeah, you do it.
Oh, well, no. Kent, what's yours?
Yeah, you could tell. You can find me at the Bacon Cell Podcast and ShowtimeShowdown.com.
Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. We've got a lot to cover next week, too. Here's a sneak peek of what we're going to be looking at. You're an exec producer on this, right? I have to know, who is the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
I'm